BSNL network, so many people are unable to access their internet. But nevertheless, we'll be going ahead with our program for today, even with less people. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Nirankush Das, and I am being joined by Nandana ma'am and Nilakshi ma'am at Mechanical Engineering Department. They are from Civil to celebrate Youth Day here at SITM. So, as you all know, Youth Day is celebrated on 12th of January, that is today, every year to mark the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda. So to speak, and plus this event is co-hosted with Institutions Innovation Council (IIC). So we have some new innovative things in civil engineering that will be presented by Nilakshi ma'am for you, and a few tidbits on the life of Swami Vivekananda ji. So I will transfer the program to Nandana ma'am first. She will give a short speech on Swami Vivekananda ji, and followed by a video and a quiz. Okay. And one reminder: this event is being recorded.
আপোনাৰ কেমেৰাটো নাহিব ইয়াতে, কিন্তু সেই আহিব আপুনি কি কৰিব পাৰে, ষ্টাৰ্ট কৰিব পাৰে। ঠিক আছে, স্ক্ৰীন শেয়াৰটো আপোনাক সেই কৰোঁ ফাৰ্ষ্ট।
Good morning, everyone. So today I am going to present on the National Youth Day.
I hope everyone can hear Nandana ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so what is National Youth Day? So National Youth Day, as it is also known as Swami Vivekananda Jayanti, so as we already know that it is celebrated on January 12th every year all over our country. The Indian government first in 1984 declared this day to be celebrated as National Youth Day. National Youth Day is a special day that is dedicated to the youth. This day intends to promote understanding, appreciation, and responsibility for the young people. It promotes social engagement and supports education through activities, events, and celebrations. This day is observed every year across schools and colleges. Processions, youth conventions, speeches, music, seminars, and other events marks this day. Moreover, the role of youth in nation building plays an important role in the country's development. So now let's see what the purpose is of this day. So the purpose of celebrating this day is to encourage the youth of today to move ahead in the future and make them dutiful and aware of their country. India celebrates National Youth Day to remember Swami Vivekananda's birth, opening opportunities for youths to make impactful decisions. It allows celebrating and raising awareness about the importance of their role in society and how they can help to shape it. This day also provides young people with a platform to express themselves and achieve their goals, which is why it is such a popular event for parents to take their children out for this day. So now what's the significance of National Youth Day? So Swami Vivekananda is considered a role model for the younger generation. He believed that the future of any country depends on the youth of that country. So in order to honor Swami Vivekananda ji and the ideals he believed, that is the future hope of India, that is the youth. So this day, that is 12th January, is celebrated as National Youth Day in India. It was felt that the philosophy of Swamiji and the ideals for which he lived and worked could be a great source of inspiration for the Indian youth. Now let us see about Swami Vivekananda ji's life. So his original name was Narendranath Datta. His exceptional abilities, intelligence, and prodigious memory set him apart as a leader right from his school days. He had a flair for drawing, a melodious voice, and an orator who could speak extempore. Vivekananda became a popular figure after the 1893 Parliament of Religions in Chicago, where he began his famous speech with the words, "Sisters and Brothers of America," before introducing Hinduism to Americans. He was so impactful at the Parliament that an American newspaper described him as an orator by divine right and undoubtedly the greatest figure at the Parliament. After great success at the Parliament, in the subsequent years, Vivekananda delivered hundreds of lectures across the United States, England, and Europe, disseminating the core tenets of Hindu philosophy, and founded the Vedanta Society of New York and the Vedanta Society of San Francisco, which is now known as the Vedanta Society of Northern California, both of which became the foundations for Vedanta societies. Born into an aristocratic Bengali Kayastha family in Calcutta, Vivekananda was inclined from a young age towards religion and spirituality. He later found his guru, Ramakrishna, and became a monk. After the death of his guru Ramakrishna, Vivekananda extensively toured the Indian subcontinent, acquiring first-hand knowledge of the living conditions of Indian people in the then British India. Moved by their plight, he resolved to help his countrymen and found a way to travel to the United States, where he was highly successful. In India, Vivekananda founded the Ramakrishna Mission or Ramakrishna Math, which provides spiritual training for monastics and householder devotees, and the Ramakrishna Mission to provide charity, social work, and education. Vivekananda was also a major force in contemporary Hindu reform movements and contributed to the concept of nationalism in colonial India. Among the various ways which Swami Vivekananda suggested to rebuild the Indian society, education was the primary means for empowering the people. He once said, "The education which does not help the common mass of people to equip themselves for the struggle for life, which does not bring out strength of character, a spirit of philanthropy, and the courage of a lion, is it worth the name? Real education is that which enables one to stand on one's own legs." For him, education meant secular learning that built character and instilled human values in students. According to Swami Vivekananda, teach yourselves, teach everyone his real nature, call upon the sleeping soul and see how it awakes. Power will come, glory will come, goodness will come, purity will come, and everything that is excellent will come when the sleeping soul is roused to self-conscious activity. Swami Vivekananda once said, "Whatever you think that you will be, if you think yourselves weak, weak you will be. If you think yourself strong, strong you will be." He also said, "See for the highest, aim at that highest, and you shall reach the highest." His messages were simple yet powerful. Vivekananda conveyed his ideas directly to the people, especially to the youth. His message broke through the shackles of caste and creed and spoke of a language of universal brotherhood. What he said captures the great importance of his ideas and ideals among the youth in our country today. He personified the eternal energy of the youth and their restless quest for truth. It is entirely fitting that 12th January, the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda, is observed as National Youth Day to rekindle the eternal message of this great patriot and son of India. Now let us see the Vivekananda's message to the world. He said, I belong as much as to the India as to the world. Bold is my message to the West, but bolder is my message to the East. My beloved countrymen, my idea that can be put into single words, the high ideal Upanishads, to translate into simple English and scattered them throughout the world, so that even a child can understand it. My ideal, indeed, can be put into a few words, and that is to preach unto mankind their divinity and how to make it manifest in every movement of life. Bold words and bolder deeds are what we want. Awake, awake, great ones, the world is burning with misery. Can you sleep? So his message to the women of India was, the best thermometer to the progress of a nation is its treatment of its women. The idea of perfect womanhood is perfect independence. That country and that nation which do not respect women have never become great, nor will ever be in future. Women must be put in a position to solve their own problems in their own way, and our Indian women are as capable of doing it as any in the world. So his message on education was, education is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. We want that education by which character is formed, strength of mind is increased, the intellect is expanded, and by which one can stand on one's own feet. Education, education, education alone, traveling through many cities of Europe and observing in them the comforts and education of even the poor people, there was brought to my mind the state of our own poor people, and I used to shed tears. What made the difference? Education was the answer I got. Real education is that which enables one to stand on his own legs. And this was the message to his message to the youth of India. He said, I was born to organize these young men. Hundreds in every city are ready to join me. My fate is in the younger generation, the modern generation. Out of them will come my workers. They will work out the whole problem like lions. I have formulated the idea and given my life to it. They will spread from center to center until we cover the whole of India. Men these are wanted, everything else will be ready. But strong, vigorous, believing young men, sincere to the backbone, are wanted. 100 such and the world become revolutionized. India will raise when thousands of such men and women filled with the zeal of courage and fortified with the power of holiness, preaching the gospel of equality, the gospel of friendship, the gospel of salvation, then will the India will rise. So these are some quotes that were given by Swami Vivekananda. So the first was, strength is life, weakness is death. So next is, take risk in your life. If you win, you may lead. If you lose, you may guide. Then the next one is, choose the highest ideal and live your life. Up to that, look at the ocean and not at the wave. So now I will show you a video on the life history of Swami Vivekananda.
Swami Vivekananda. Earlier, he was known as Narendra. He was an Indian Hindu monk, and a chief disciple of the 19th century Indian mystic Ramakrishna. He was born on January 12, 1863, Calcutta, Bengal Presidency, British India. His father's name was Vishwanath Datta, and mother's name was Bhubaneswari Devi. He was born in a caste family. His father was an attorney at the Calcutta High Court, and his mother was a devout housewife. He was the sixth of his 10 siblings. He acquired his preliminary education in 1871, at the age of 8, from Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar's Metropolitan Institution. Narendra completed his graduation in 1884 in arts from the Presidency College, Calcutta. Narendra met Ramakrishna in 1881 at Dakshineshwar. During this time, Narendra was undergoing a time of spiritual crisis. It was his famous question to Sri Ramakrishna, "Have you seen God?" Ramakrishna did not convince Narendra completely at the first go. But after noticed some great virtue of Ramakrishna, he became a frequent visitor to Ramakrishna. After the tragic death of his father, he came closer to Ramakrishna and received help to move out of his spiritual crisis situation. In 1885, Ramakrishna was diagnosed with throat cancer. Then Narendra took great care of his master and nursed him with utmost devotion and love. Before renouncing body, Ramakrishna made Narendra the leader of a new monastic order. Post the death of Ramakrishna, Narendra along with his young disciples began to live at Baranagar. In 1887, he took the formal vows of sannyasa, thereby assuming new names. Narendra came to be known as Swami Vivekananda. In 1888, to profess the message of Ramakrishna to the world, Swami Vivekananda resolved to embark on a journey, extensively exploring India in the initial years. He walked on foot, lived on alms, and led a life of a wandering monk. By this time, he understood that the masses require two kinds of knowledge. One which allowed them to improve their economic condition. The second which helped them to build faith and strengthen their moral sense. To accomplish his goal of bettering the life of the masses, Swami Vivekananda aimed at initiating an organization. In 1893, he traveled abroad for the first time to be a part of the World's Parliament of Religions. At the parliament, Swami Vivekananda became known as the orator of divine right and messenger of Indian wisdom to the Western world. Then he traveled in the eastern part of United States and London to spread the message of Vedanta. Upon returning to India in 1897, he initiated Ramakrishna Mission, an organization which propagated the teaching of practical Vedanta and commenced various forms of social service. In 1898, Swami Vivekananda acquired a huge property at Belur, which became a permanent abode of the monastery and monastic order. The place became known as Ramakrishna Math and was open to all men. Swami did not marry at all. He died at Belur Math, Bengal Presidency, British India on 4 July 1902 at the age of 39. Arise, awake, and do not stop until the goal is reached, said Swami Vivekananda.
Please, no?
Okay, so that was a short video on the life history of Vivekananda. So now we will start a quiz session based on the content of this presentation. So my first question is, it's very easy. Whose birthday is celebrated as National Youth Day?
Swami Vivekananda.
Okay. Then next question, when did the government of India first declare the National Youth Day? That means in which year?
1994.
1994. Anyone else? Any other answer? Yes? Students? So 1994 is not the correct answer. It's 1984, okay? In 1984, Government of India first declared the National Youth Day. Then next question, what was the real name of Vivekananda? Yes, students?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, okay. So, answer the third question, that is, what was the real name of Vivekananda?
Narendranath Dutta.
Narendranath Dutta. Okay. Then next question, in which year was Vivekananda born?
1863.
Okay. Then next, from which college Vivekananda completed his graduation? Anyone?
Presidency College, Calcutta.
Okay, okay. It was there in the video. Then next, number 6, he was known as Dash of Divine Right. Okay, I'll give you two options. Number 1 is orator and number 2 speaker. What was the word? Orator or speaker?
Orator.
Orator. Okay. Then next, who was the guru of Vivekananda?
Ramakrishna Paramhans.
Okay. Then next, what was the name of the religious institution that Vivekananda established in India? Yes, answer number 8. Religious institution.
Can you all hear, madam?
Is it the Ramakrishna Mission?
Okay. Yes, it's correct. Okay, then number 9, Vivekananda's birthplace was,
Kolkata.
Kolkata.
and the last question, What was the primary means of empowering people according to Vivekananda? Primary means of empowering people. Anyone? Okay, so I will tell the answer. It's education. Okay, education was the primary means, is the primary means of empowering people according to Vivekananda. Okay, so
What is the answer of question number 2?
number 2, it's 1984. 1984. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so last, a message for the youth. Societies should be molded upon truth, as not to adjust itself to the society. Whatever you think you will be, you think yourself strong, strong you will be. Blessed are they whose bodies get destroyed in the service of others. Okay, so this was about the National Youth Day. So thank you everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Mute, mute. Okay, so now Nilakshi ma'am will present innovation in civil engineering. Okay? Over to you, Nilakshi ma'am.
Good morning all. Good morning all.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay. So today I am going to present on the topic concrete 3D printer. So the term concrete, anyone know the term what is concrete? So it is a mixture of cement, porous aggregates, fine aggregates and water. So concrete 3D printer, it is one of the type of 3D printing. So let's see what is 3D printing. So 3D printing is a process of additive manufacturing. So it is a process of joining materials to make parts from 3D model data, usually layer upon layer, as opposed to subtractive manufacturing methodologies. As the world is growing fast, the requirement of quick and sustainable construction has led to the rise in 3D printing, construction and manufacturing. So next, advantages of concrete 3D printing. So concrete 3D printing, it is one of the type of 3D printing. So it minimizes the time consumed 50 to 70% of the total time required for a traditional work. It also minimizes the construction cost by 30 to 60% by decreasing the scrap waste. It minimizes the labor cost, environment friendly, and the building constructed is of high quality and has a long life exceeding 50 years. It also produces sustainable and green buildings as it uses industrial waste and recycle waste. So these are the disadvantages of concrete 3D printing. The cost of 3D printer is very expensive. Number 2, the materials which are used in 3D printing are very rare. And the printers which use harmful chemicals, this is very dangerous to human health. So you can see this one is the world's first 3D printed office, which is in Dubai. And it was built at Emirates Tower Complex. The square feet of this structure is around 2,690, and this office was built just in 17 days. And the cost of construction was around $10,000. So next, these are the structures, 3D printed bridge in Spain and 3D printed homes in China. Types of 3D printing: D-shape printing, concrete printing, and contour grafting printing. So D-shape printing, it is a large dimensional printer, uses a layer by layer printing process, and it was invented by Enrico Dini in 2008. And then this one, concrete printing. Concrete printing, it is a special mix of concrete, specially prepared to flow with ease through the nozzle of the printing equipments. The structure built with 3D printed concrete are created on the fundamentals of layering, with each layer deposited on the previous layer. And last one is the contour grafting. So contour grafting is a building printing technology researched by the University of Southern California Information Science Institute that uses a computer-controlled crane to build rapidly and efficiently with less manual labor. Applications of 3D print. So it is affordable housing complex construction in low-income countries, used to build military and hospital bunkers during emergency situations, and it is used in complex structure where the formwork is difficult to manufacture. So you can see that L&T Construction complete India's first 3D printed 2-story building in 106 hours. So we all know that L&T, it is one of the largest construction company, and the 3D printed buildings which has a built-up area of it has a built-up area of 700 square feet, and it has been built with a special in-house developed concrete mix using indigenously available regular construction material. And another example I would give, in 2021, IIT Madras built 3D printed house within 5 days. So it was inaugurated by the Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. So it consists of a single story with functional space of about 600 square feet, comprising a single bedroom, kitchen and hall. So the process of building 3D printed is not just different, but a lot quicker than conventional method. It is built with focus on reduced time, zero waste construction and optimized production. So now I would like to share one video regarding 3D printer. Then only you will come to know that how exactly the 3D printer works.
My name is Ayman Hussein, and I am the Director of 3D Printing at Alquist. Here at Alquist, we focus on printing homes that are affordable in the community and for the people in the area. We range between 1,500 square feet and 1,300 for a single family. We use large-scale construction 3D printers to be able to create affordable housing in rural and unserved areas. So when we arrive on site, we typically work on a slab or a ribbon footing, and what we do is we set the printer up around where the house is going to go. We typically have around 5 or 6 pieces of equipment, and that is printer, and we also have a control panel to operate and monitor the print settings. Then on the material side, we have a silo which holds the dry material, and directly below that we have a mixing system and a pumping system. The water is added in that process and pumped through a hose, which then feeds the printer material. This process isn't very different than a typical desktop 3D printer. What you do is you start your design stage and you create a CAD file that basically tells the machine where to go and how fast to do it and how much material to let out at that specific spot. And so the program is the center line of where the nozzle is, and the printer will follow that line throughout the whole process. The way the printer reads, it's a cross section. So if you were to draw this up and you cut out a very thin line of that object, that's what the machine sees, and sees a bunch of those over and over and over again to complete the house. The two rails, if you will, those provide your outer bounds for your wall, and so in that middle portion is where you can run electrical, your plumbing. In a sense, we are like a framing company. However, we're much more of a hands-on system where we construct all the walls and then we guide the GCs through installing the doors, windows, HVAC, and plumbing systems. You're doing the house and you have to leave cavities for your two doors. What happens is it kind of splits that house into two wall sections, left of the door and right of the door. And what it'll do is it'll do that wall section, it'll lift up, go to the other side of the door, and complete that other wall section. And then once you're at the top of the door, what we do is we add I refer to it as a manual support. And so what we do is we add a steel lintel that stretches across that window or door. And then the printer then continues printing directly over top that system. Each house consists of around 150 layers. Each layer is approximately 3/4 of an inch thick, and so that makes a standard 9-foot wall. Based on our current mix design, each layer takes around 5 to 10 minutes before we add another layer on top of it. So that's like the layer set time until it's hard enough to be able to hold weight for another layer to be added. And then we try to hold off for around 2 weeks before any large load-bearing weight, such as a roof system, be added, and a concrete reaches the max strength at 28 days. Nozzle design is really customizable, especially in the 3D construction industry. There's the squared off nozzle where it has a flat aesthetic, and then there's the rounder nozzle that leaves more of a bead look. They have the same properties as far as structural design. It's more of an aesthetic finish. With the printed system, if you wanted a more structural or more ballistic based wall, you can increase the concrete in that wall system by increasing the nozzle thickness. What we have is on this specific nozzle, the back end of the nozzle has a raking system, and so as it goes, it provides those grooves. And so that's just an indicator of making sure you're at that right height, and allowing the next layer to smooth it directly over top. The process, the way it's done, very similar to a bricklaying system, where you would go around and you do one layer of bricks, and then once that layer is finished, you go to the next one. It's very similar in that process. However, the building materials and the labor-intensive portion of that is obviously different. 3D printed homes allow for quicker construction that are also less expensive and more durable over a long period of time. Since we have those two WISE, all our homes are considered thermally broken, which allows for less utility cost to maintain the home. One of the main questions that I get on my TikTok or personal interactions is the replacing of manual labor and people leaving without jobs. And that's why I address that here. Is this technology we see as the answer to and not the cause of the national job shortage. We're committed to locally hire booster runner machines. So if we go into a community, we hire from within that town, train them on the printer, and they become our print crew in the area. And just like any automation company, it's our duty to replace any jobs lost through the process. And so we're working with 11 universities across the country to create a job force development program to train people on this new system in this very new industry.
So thank you everyone for joining today.
So thank you everyone for joining today. So I think we had a wonderful session. Nandana ma'am started with life history and the teachings of Swami Vivekananda, followed by Nilachi ma'am giving you some insights into how a 3D printed home is built. Okay, so thank you for joining and happy National Youth Day. Thank you. Have a good day.